Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Okay, let's start with the Memphis Grizzlies. So, this is the NBA exit interview for the Memphis Grizzlies. So let us know in the comments down below what you thought of the Grizzlies season and where do you think so far of their off season. We know the off season's, 3 weeks in or whatever. So we're a little late, but better late than never. They finished this season last year 25-57. So let's start with some pros. You want to give me a pro for the Grizzlies?
Yeah, I think it's got to start with Cedric Howard.
Yep.
Again, just the 11th pick in the draft last year really kind of showed a little bit of everything, especially his shooting in that. And that's, again, when you draft in those spots, sometimes, it's in the lottery, but in the NBA, it can be rough quick.
Yep.
But, 34% from three, 47% from the field, but he showed a lot, especially defensively, just a really solid pickup. And to do that, on what turned out to be not a great team, it's got to be a win for Memphis.
100%. So like a building block, and he's kind of like your Memphis type of guy, physical, big. So yeah, really, really good pickup for the Grizzlies there. Good pick by them. I'm gonna give Cam Spencer another pro. He went from 25 games last year, played 72, started in 10. He averaged how many points here? I had it written down. 16? Does that sound right? No, that sounds like too much.
11.
11. Yeah, that's why I had it here. Okay, here it is. Okay, 11, but he shot 44% from three, which is huge. 47 from the field. Just a nice role, like at least a role player. It's only his second year in the league, so I think that's a good find for them, especially a young team that's resetting. So Cam Spencer is one of my pros for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, and again, Memphis is really good at just kind of like identifying dudes
Mhm.
and then getting something out of them.
Right, correct. Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Give me another pro for you.
I think a pro for is they kind of picked a direction.
Yeah.
They made the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade like kind of out of nowhere. Like it was kind of like we're focused on them getting rid of John Morant, and then here's the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. And again, I think Memphis did a really good job of trying to compete. They had the grit and grind. They kind of did it their way. And I think they realized they took it to the max that they could go based on the talent they had, based on off the court issues. And it's time to move on. And I think I think it's a positive when your team does that, opposed to what we've seen in the NBA or even other sports where teams just kind of like hang on, and it just drags, aka the Chicago Bulls or Sacramento Kings, right?
Yes.
You don't want to be that team, even if it means being bad for a few years until you can build it back up. They picked a direction. I feel like they did pretty good in that Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. So it sucks, but it's a positive that they kind of picked a direction.
No, I agree. What two picks, one swap?
Yeah.
Yeah, Clayton. Among other things, they also got Walter Clayton Jr., which is an interesting piece, and Taylor Hendricks. I like coming out of the draft. I liked Hendricks, but he had a big injury last year, and he's coming back from it this year. So I'm kind of interested to see if he rebounds next year. But the thing with the Grizzlies now is they're so young. It's like, will there be enough minutes for all these young guys? But yeah, I agree with you. Picking a direction, and I really thought they did pretty good for the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Jalen Wells is another young guy. I really like that they have. He's a solid defender. He took a uptick in his play and in his scoring. So I think again, like you said, Grizzlies are really good at identifying these young guys and developing them. And once again, another young guy. He's only this second year in the league. So I'm really interested to see how him grow with the Grizzlies. And he shoots consistently 35% from three. I'd like to see that go up just a hair bit, but for right now, what they got, I think that's a win. So another win for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, And that's kind of it for me. But that's a good summation of like finding these dudes and getting something out of them. At least they can be role players.
Right, correct. That's the point. Okay, so any more pros or that's it for you?
That was it.
Okay, let's go to cons. Give me your first con.
Yeah, I think we'll start with like Zach Edey's injury, right? Like I was never like a big Zach Edey guy. He did show some of those things that people liked, some of the things you talked about like the year before. But he only got 11 games, like foot issues. It always makes you nervous, when you're a 7'3", 300-pound dude. So to not get anything out of that year, which, sometimes we go, all right, well, it's only his second year. But again, when you do this and you push a year or lose a year, you get closer to an extension, you get closer to, like this person either losing their value or so on and so forth. But to get a lost season out of him, which I think he was kind of like, I don't want to say the backbone, but kind of like that linchpin of what makes Jaren Jackson kind of tick, because Jaren Jackson's not a good rebounder. It sucks when that happens.
Yeah, I think because he played 11 games. He actually looked pretty solid in those 11 games. He went from 9 to 13 points. Obviously small sample size, but just remember, like, this is what we're basing out. He went from 8 rebounds to 11 rebounds. So like he, almost 2 blocks a game. So it's like he was progressing, and then like the foot injury for him derailed the rest of the season and the season for the Grizzlies as well. And it just stinks because again, like I think when he came out, you had some legitimate concerns, and even though like he'll show you at times, it's like by year two, or at least by next year, but by year two, you really wish those would be subsided by year 2 or 3. So we'll give him one more year, but it's a bummer because he did start out pretty hot this year before his injury.
Yep.
I put no Ja Morant trade as a con. Now they did trade Ja Morant, so remember I did the notes before the offseason started, and at that time there was no Ja Morant trade, and I think when you see what they got for him, they just kind of held on to him for too long. They probably should have traded when they could have got like a couple second round picks or whatever the case may be. And all he was kind of like a distraction on the team the entire year. So they should have probably, like you mentioned, they did a good job of ripping the Band-Aid off of Jaren Jackson Jr. They didn't do, I don't think, a good enough job. I understand that they probably had more value in him or thought they could get more value in him, but the market sets the value, and apparently the value wasn't as high as you wanted it to be. So whatever you could have got for him at the trade deadline or before the season, not doing that, I think was a negative. So that's one of my cons.
Yep. I just think at the trade that, especially when you see him go for basically Jeremy Grant, which is not an expiring deal.
Right.
Right. Like at least if you would have held on and like, oh, they got him for, a $40 million expiring deal. Like, okay, like at least you're clearing some space. But yeah, if there was any deal at the deadline that involved a late first, a protected first, a swap,
Yeah.
I think they probably could have got that from a team, but they had the, like the optics of trading your once franchise guy for, like a 25th pick in the draft and some salary filler. But in the end, you basically trade him for Jeremy Grant. So not great.
Yeah, I mean, we did not that they're the same level of athlete or whatever or a basketball player, but that's what happened with Andre Drummond when we traded him 2 second-round picks. There was a moment where we could have got like DeMarcus Cousins for him, when DeMarcus was was averaging like 27 and 10. So I'm just saying, like, you gotta trade. Sometimes you gotta trade these players just to get whatever value you can, so you're not trading them for like something that could haunt you in for the next couple of years, which is the Grant contract. Okay. Any other cons for you?
Just, I thought, again, it's injury related with Scottie Pippen Jr., but like he's shown some stuff. And again, another guy, 11 games, right? You hate to see wasted seasons, especially when you're a team rebuilding. And Scottie Pippen Jr. has shown some stuff, and, to not get to see it again. And you could just counter that with like KCP really kind of like falling off a cliff. I mean, he was a 31% 3-point shooter. So, like, sometimes you take a gamble on these guys, right? In the Desmond Bane trade, like maybe, hey, he can shoot 30-some%. We can move him on to a contender. Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, tough stuff. Yep, agreed. Especially with KCP. Okay. I have to. I know they fired him last year, but even the Taylor Jenkins firing, I'm still going to hold that against. I think he's a good coach. I think he's good at developing players. I don't quite understand why he was fired still, even though, they told us some information, but I'm going to put that down as a negative just because even though it happened last year, I don't think we got to talk about it too much. So anyway, that's a con for me.
Yeah, it's hard. And you never know, right? Like sometimes I think teams hold on to coaches too long. To their detriment, but I think sometimes you let a guy out the door too soon, and maybe we'll find out. Taylor Jenkins definitely has some work ahead of him in his new job.
Yes.
But we'll see how fast he can turn that around or make the Bucks look good. Where you could be like, maybe we should have just kept him that extra year since we were trading half the team anyhow.
Right, correct. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like you almost trust him more than because you've seen how he's helped develop these young guys, right? Like so now that you're going young, and I guess like part of the problem was the way they were doing their offense or whatever. And it's like, well, you have John Morant, and that was the best offense for John Morant, and then you tried to make John Morant something he wasn't, and then you upset him, and it's almost like if you wanted him to change the offense, maybe pull the plug on Morant first, maybe and give him the opportunity, but whatever. Okay. Let's talk about any other cons for you?
No.
Okay. Different. So what have you done different this year for the Grizzlies?
Yeah, I think we for me, if we touch on it, was John Morant.
Mhm.
I just think the sunk cost fallacy. Like you just reached a point that this isn't going to work. He keeps saying like he doesn't want to leave, but his actions on and off the court are just of a person who just makes it difficult to have a copacetic, happy team.
Yeah.
And I think when a guy reaches that phase, you're better off just pulling the Band-Aid off. They finally did once we got to this off season, but to see him go for Jeremy Grant is not awesome,
Right.
But they finally did it. It's just I think you do it sometime during the season last year.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I would have done differently. And whether it was Ja or the team or whatever that caused, the riff, I understand like the off court stuff with the guns and stuff, whatever. But overall, the relationship was fractured before this year. You should have probably just got rid of them. So, okay, let's grade their season. Clint, just before I'm gonna give you. We both had him at a play-in team. Just seven. I had him 7. You had him 8. That was our prediction. So, what would you grade their season, Clint?
Well, good. I remembered.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to put
when
you
I
on the
was
spot
thinking
that
about it, I
time.
was like, okay, Memphis. I'm like, there's no way I had them very high. So, they obviously didn't do that. I had them at 2 stars, and you saw some positives, and I think the Jaren Jackson will long term be a positive. But I just think between the injuries and the John Morant situation and the team kind of feeling off, they underperformed.
Yeah, I put 1. They vastly underperform in my opinion. I thought they could be like the sneaky team that could get, and then the Edie injury, and some of it's not their fault. I don't want to blame them, but what I expected them to be and what they ended up being is there's such a massive gap between that, so I have to grade them a 1. They did do some stuff like some of the young guys performing in the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. I like that stuff, but it couldn't overcome the expectations I had for them. So 1 star.
Tough grader today, but I like
know.
it.
I know. You wait till we talk about the Bucks. Okay, let's talk about their offseason. What? Oh, do I have? I should have. Let's see. Yes, I do. Okay, hold on. So the Grizzlies off season. Now they already done some things. Okay, but they. Uh, I guess maybe it's not important because like this is before they even traded Ja Morant. I had Bobby Marks's thing, so we'll just skip that. What do you think they should do this offseason or continue to do, in your opinion?
I just have a feeling if they could do something like trade for a backup center like Isaiah Stewart or something, that would probably be really good. Yeah, again, I think the purpose of this is to start your rebuild, but also, and I think they're going to do a good job of this, right? Like, hey, we need veterans, we need the toughness, keep that in the team. That's kind of like the identifying mark of the Grizzlies. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. That's just like the DNA of the team. So they brought in guys that could do that, and Cam Boozer.
Oh, that was going to be my prediction is that they should probably just stay at their draft spot and draft Cam Boozer. Okay, never.
But I just think like look, it's going to be letting the young guys explore the space and use whatever cap space and assets you have to kind of take on some bad deal or assets for a while until you kind of find your footing.
Yeah, I would like to say just continue to build around the young guys, right? Like so the getting Isaiah Stewart for a culture change like that, bringing in Cam Boozer as a guy that know is going to be like a 2010 guy, love it. But can just clear the roadway for them too. Like that's the other thing. Like we talked about the Grant trade. KCP's on that team. Are there some of these guys that we can just kind of unload to just not allow these guys to get in the way of the progress of your young guys? We talk about this all the time. Progress stoppers, just get like Jeremy Grant. I think he can kind of be that type of guy. Let's just move on from him. You got enough forwards. Let's, if you're able to, especially you probably have to wait till the trade deadline, but maybe you'll find someone. So that's what I would do is just continue to go young and clear the way so that these young guys can just handle the ball and become the players that get a chance to become the players you think they can become.
Yeah, and I think the new lottery odds are like hand built for a team like Memphis, where you're never going to want to play them like on the second night of a back-to-back. They can play as hard as they want. They're not going to win a ton of games, but they don't have to tank, right? You don't have to do the whole tanking thing now. So them getting all the way up to like the 8th or 9th worst team is like perfect for them because you can get all these guys like real minutes and play them hard without having to be like, oh, we need to rest someone so that we lose a couple games.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Okay, long shot.
Yeah. I mean, I think their long shot going into the offseason was Ja Morant.
I did move Morant. Yeah.
Yeah. And because I outside of Ja Morant, I don't think there's anyone, right? They're not trading any of these big name guys or bringing in a big name guy at this time.
Yeah, that's the thing I would just say long shot move. I'll just put this, just moving Grant by the trade deadline. That's all. It's a long shot. I don't know if it'll happen. He has a big contract, but who knows? There might be a team that's like, man, we're that power forward, guy away from being a real, like having a real shot. So maybe there's a move to be had by then. But other than that, like they already did my long shot for the summer. Yeah.
I would agree.
Okay. Anything else on the Grizzlies?
I don't think so. Just
okay.
Tough it out, guys.
Tough it out, guys. Well, they have some really interesting pieces, so I think this will be fun for them. As a Piston fan, just going through that process, there was a moment where it was just kind of like fun watching these guys develop. Now, was it fun when we won 14 games? No, but once we won the 44, and so it'll be worth it. Okay, for everybody watching here on YouTube, let us know your thoughts on the Grizzlies season. What are some pros, cons? What's your grade for them? And what do you think so far of their offseason? Don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Okay. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.